everyone, my name is Fox from Untilting, and I'm at Fox, and I feel like I should bring my swords up, but not right now. But this is my review of Fate Stay Unlimited Bladeworks. Hold on, maybe I'll just get one blade. What can I say? I love my swords. Blade, what is it? Unlimited Bladeworks. Fate Stay Unlimited Bladeworks. What can I say? I've seen Fate Zero as well, so this might be kind of a dual review. But Fate Zero I saw years ago, and Fate Stay. Basically, one reason why I want to start watching this one was because... Did I start watching it beforehand? Guys told me that on Mabinogi, they were having a Fate Stay event. Unlimited Bladeworks event. Which I thought, alright. I remember kind of liking the first series. I'm sorry. I kind of like the first series of Fate Stay event, kind of, so... And I love the concept of it, so I thought, screw it, let me watch the anime while I do the event. Again, this is my own opinion on the series, just so everyone knows, so no one gets mad, or you're probably going to get mad. I love the concept of it. Mostly because it's a concept I've already seen before on another thing, on another show or anime and or manga, kind of way better. Basically, if you don't know what Fate series is about, basically, at least from Fate Zero and Fate Stay Unlimited Bladeworks, every so often there is a contest done for this omnipotent cup, for the Holy Grail, or this omnipotent wish granter, that 5 wizards are chosen for, that they then, or mages, 5 mages are chosen for, and then summon a creature of heroic spirit, or hero of time, to help them, or hero of legend to help them battle it out. And the last person who wins is able to grab the Holy Grail and have their wish granted, or so they say. If some of you have already heard that type of story before, without hearing the name of Fate Stay, I'm probably going to tell you, you probably know it from an anime from Shonen Jump, and or manga from Shonen Jump. But I'll bring that up in a bit, hopefully. But basically, these 5 wizards also all have these things called command seals, which are basically 3 wishes on their hands, and they can use to make their their heroic spirits fight each other. And again, these heroes are taken from legend, so spoiler, and you're supposed to keep, and each of them has an ability that connects to their legend and or stories, where one of the main characters, like the main character, kind of, a character that appears throughout a couple of Fate Stay series, I believe, is Saber, who is actually King Arthur. And because it's a girl on this one, Arturio Pendragon, her noble phantasm or special power is Excalibur, that turns golden and basically allows her to be super strong. And basically, there's just supposed to be fights and battles there's 5 different classes of servants. Sabers, which are like King Arthur, sword wielders. Archers, characters who use bows and arrows. Spearmen, people who use spears, of course. Spear, berserker, rage-induced creatures. And assassins, shadow things. And it's supposed to be kind of like a balance, I guess. I don't know. I don't think they ever really explain it. Or maybe they did in Fate Zero a little bit more, but again, that was years ago. And basically, a lot of the time, Fate Zero focused on 5 different protagonists, kind of. They're all having their own reasons, and a lot of them, and a couple of them are basically family, to where the main guy, at least I call him the main character, Kiritsugu, he is the partner of Saber, and he's doing this so he can go back to his daughter. And then another guy is trying to do this to protect his stepdaughters, which aren't really his. I think they're like his nieces. I can't remember. It was a while ago. And then like each of them is basically kind of doing it for the little bit of their family or whatnot, or like pride in being a mage or whatnot. And a lot of them had somewhat compelling stories. And even like one guy who had what was it? Not King Arthur. Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great was awesome, and they had good personalities. But while watching, and even Kiritsugu had like this kind of cool backstory to him, where he was like an assassin and all these stuff. And I'm like, okay, I kind of like all this, but for some reason I kind of feel a little bit, nah. Even in that one, like the reveal of who Berserker is pretty freaking epic. But again, I kind of felt like, why is this kind of showing to me? I feel like I should care about some of these guys, but I kind of don't. But then I care about the reasons, which is kind of what I think probably kept me going a little bit more, and Kiritsugu kind of being cool. But then a lot of things kind of felt a little mucky, like, okay, so you have 3 command seals, and if you use up all 3, your servant disappears. So you have to use them wisely. And then, like, there's a priest, and then, like, different characters are freaking awesome, like, Gilgamesh, freaking epic guy in, like, the first series, and even the second one. And one reason I really liked him was because I knew who he was, because I knew his, legend. I knew his legend as well as King Arthur's legend. I'm like, okay, I know these two, kind of, so that's kind of a cool thing. And Gilgamesh himself is just kind of a cool character, even though he's a snob, and King Arthur is King Arthur with Excalibur. But they never really focus on those characters a little bit. Like, again, I haven't seen Fate Zero for a while, but like I always felt like, okay, I kind of want to see a little bit more of Saber. I want to see a little bit more of this. Maybe they did pull it out a little bit better in Fate Zero. I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've seen that one. But then, and I don't believe they ever really, but then I watched Fate Stay Unlimited bladeworks. And like even like the ending, like it's a continuation of Fate Zero, where spoilers for Fate Zero, Kiritsugu gets the Holy Grail, but it turns out that his dream to save everyone is an incomplete dream, or since he doesn't know how to do it, the Holy Grail doesn't know, even though it's said to be omnipotent. And basically it ends with Kiritsugu not being able to see his daughter again because the family that basically has control over his daughter, I guess. What is it? Parentingship or whatever the fudge. Basically says, yeah, you can't come back here. And mages or whatnot, so they could just say, you can't come back here. And Kiritsugu also finds a kid, because his wish accidentally destroys, like, Tokyo or some city. And Kiritsugu then finds a kid throughout all the dead bodies. He finds one kid who's alive, and he adopts him as his son. And then the next series, Fate Stay Unlimited Bladeworks, is a continuation of that, which is kind of cool. And his son is said to want to be a hero of justice. One of the other main characters from the last one, his daughter is there, and kind of like the first 3 seconds, I kind of felt something was a little off, or I felt like, what's happening really? And it's basically, there's some things that kind of, that are cliches within anime. There are some cliches. One of them being the character being so lazy that they don't want to wake up. That's great, but usually if that's ever done, like you'll hear, hit the alarm clock, then you hear like, silly music or something going on. And the character, especially if they're doing something silly or whatnot in this, and they keep like hitting the alarm clock, whatever. You don't see that in this. It's just, kink. If I remember correctly, and there's a lot of scenes throughout that where characters, if they ever do something silly, there's nothing really to say they're doing it for silliness. And then also, there's a lot of wrong with this, for one. Basically, this one girl, I forgot her name already. She tries to summon. There's another Holy Grail War coming up in 5. It already came up in 10 years. 10 years later from the first series. This girl tries to summon Saber, but accidentally summons another character called Archer, who lost his memory. Which I'm thinking, okay, that's kind of a cool twist a little bit on this, because we don't know this guy's legend, Archer's legend. So it's kind of like, okay, who is this guy? And then Kiritsugu's son, I forgot his name too. Fudge, I forgot all their freaking names. He said to be wanting to become a hero of justice because that was his dream. That was his dad's dream. His dad wanted to protect him, and Kiritsugu said that he did want to protect him, but he gave up on trying to become a hero of justice when he was younger. And Kiritsugu's son said, "I'll try to do it for you." Emiya, try to do it for you. And that's kind of a cool setup. And then, like, you've seen some stuff like that before, but still, that's something I'm like, okay, I kind of like this character already. He has kind of a purpose that I like. But then as the series progresses, you find out things, because it's supposed to be that not the Holy Girl picked them, but heroic spirits come to fight in this battle. But a lot of times they say, oh, they're just slaves. They're not really partners or whatever. And they're just slaves and whatnot. And some characters, and other than like Saber and maybe Archer, no, I don't know what exactly to say. I'm trying to think. Basically, there were things I did not like about this. One is, just seems at some points, it's a very, I don't want to say dark, depressing story a lot of the times. Like, even, kind of like the end of Fate Zero, it is still depressing as well. Especially since a lot of the guys get screwed in the bunghole. But, get screwed over. But, trying to think. A lot of them get screwed over, definitely. But this one is, like, the main character, I forgot the fudge's name is, the redhead who's Kiritsugu's son. He wants to become a hero of justice, and the girl who who kind of becomes his friend, who's the master of Archer, Kiritsugu's son being the master of Saber, King Arthur again, they kind of form an alliance, and she always says, and it's kind of like, oh, they're going to get together at the end. But she's like saying, you shouldn't be like, and apparently the redhead always does things for other people and nearly never really for himself. And the girl always says, oh, you shouldn't do that for other people. You should be selfish or whatever. You should only do things for yourself or else you won't be happy and all this stuff. And I guess I kind of understand some bits, like, I don't think he said you won't be happy, because even he says that he does try to help people, and he basically is saying that if the world needs a sacrifice, let it be me, in a sense. And I honestly can respect that. But how he, like, it feels like this show's trying to say, that's a stupid dream. And that's a stupid dream, or you shouldn't try to help everyone or whatnot. And I guess, in a sense, they're supposed to be kind of saying, you can't help anyone beyond saving, but honestly, this feels like a message that went over way better in Wander Over Yonder. And other things, like certain characters or their arcs are horrible, or like they're not there at all. Like at one point, Saber, King Arthur, tells redhead, tells him, hey, you shouldn't go to school without me because I can help you, I can protect you. And he's like, no, it's fine, I'm okay. So he goes to school, and something bad happens, he almost gets killed. And then the next day, he still doesn't come with Saber. King Arthur, I'm just like, you don't have, like, memory issues, right? You do realize that you almost got killed yesterday. And they also say that in this like school or whatever, that there's a barrier set up by another mage who's part of this Holy Grail War, who set up a thing that will basically do what they did in Full Metal Alchemist, where they absorb all of the souls of the beings around into one main vessel. But in Full Metal Alchemist, it's the Philosopher's Stone, and this one it's familiar, one of the heroic spirits. But he still doesn't bring Saber along. Even, like, there was a point where, like I said, one of the teachers goes, oh, yeah, if she's going to sign up, because Saber actually goes with him one of the first days and goes, oh, if she's a new transfer student, she has to go through this, and Kitty's like, oh, okay, yeah. Or one of the redheads, he's like, oh, okay, yeah. But Saber never does, and I'm just like, okay, why don't you do this? Because, one, you can have Saber with you and protecting you, and also we could have funny drama moments or something like that, something to break up between when it wants to be serious with a little bit of funny or something like that. But throughout the entire series, there's not really that much funny, or if it is, it never has any music to back it up, or it just feels like out of place. Like, honestly, some of the funniest bits are probably with Saber, like, at one point where they all go out to go, like, eat or whatever, and Saber's just, like, nobbing on food, and I'm like, it's just pretty funny. Just, like, the other two are just doing whatever, and you see Saber in the background just eating constantly, eating, like, different sweets. I'm like, that's pretty funny. That's pretty cute or whatever. Or, like, Saber trying to hit a baseball, but always being terrible at it. Those bits are a little bit more funnier, but just watching this, I'm just like, a lot of it is like, and especially like Archer, who's kind of a cool, mysterious character. We don't really know his backstory, and when we do, it's kind of like, okay, it's kind of cool, but like at one point, the redhead kind of looks up to Archer in a bit, and even when he's training with Saber, because Saber says that what's his face should learn how to use a weapon just in case Saber's not with him. And he tries to do it with like a broadsword, like, this, but it doesn't really fit him. So then he starts trying Saber's tactics using weapons like his. And also this kid has magic also, but he can only enhance, strengthen things, and then later on create weapons using his powers. And he even creates some weapons of Archer's, like exact duplicates. And I was just waiting for like the scene where Archer and him fight Archer, and then meet, and like Archer goes, what are you, what are you, a fan or something like that? Something like that. Something like, what, do you look up to me or something? Like, I thought that would be kind of a cool scene, and kind of, because these two always seem to be at each other's necks in this series. They're always at each other's necks, and you kind of find out why. But, Cheeps, I'm sweating. It is just annoying a bit on some of these things. It's just, I don't know how to say it. Basically, it doesn't really work at some point. Like, you think like, okay, something like this will happen, and it doesn't, what I guess it means, it's not like a good way of saying, oh, it's keeping you on your toes. No, it's kind of like, you're doing something very stupid right now, and you could have something awesome right here. And one, Gilgamesh is still alive because apparently he bathed in the Holy Grail in the last one, which I believe I saw. There's this one blue-haired idiot who's another mage, but he gets his assassin killed. Oh, was it assassin? No, it was caster, the magic. Yeah, there's a magic wielder, caster. She tries to do this, but he tries to do this, but it sucks. So then he gets paired with Gilgamesh, who was from the last war, and he's a rapist / and this kid, not Gilgamesh, the kid, he's a rapist / a-hole and rich little snob. I don't say rich, but like little snob. He's just an all-around a-hole. And he really has no arc whatsoever. And usually in other series, he would just be, the comical relief or something like that. Not with the rape bit, mind you, but this guy would be just like a comical relief, like, oh yeah, he's trying to be taken seriously, but he's not. He's not. He shouldn't be at all. And he tries to rape one of the main characters, the girl, and I'm just like, what the fuck? And also, she's, I guess, a tsundere, I think is the correct term, because she always wants to hurt the redhead, even though apparently she likes him. And also, basically, this does a lot of bad things in it. And, like, if it ever tries to be funny or happy, it's always bad. And that's not my only thing that I'm saying, like, it's bad about it. Some plot lines, which would be so awesome for drama or whatnot, is dropped. And I'm also running out of time, so I gotta say this quickly. Like, one, Saber knew the redhead's father, Kiritsugu. She was his master. I believe they knew each other. I can't really remember because I remember he's in the shadow, but I remember they met. And Saber doesn't say anything about that, really. Doesn't say, oh yeah, I knew your father, or something like that. We never see that. And especially since this kid kind of is like, this kid never really brings up his father up at all, either. And then even after that also, you have things like, what is his name? Let's see. And then like, the daughter of Kiritsugu, the one that he had to leave behind, she's part of this Grail War, and she has another heroic spirit with her, which is Hercules, which I'm thinking, oh my lord, how they could have had this so much better with Gilgamesh also to meld that. But I'll explain that bit, hopefully. But she says, hello, brother, and basically tries to kill him. And I'm just like, my lord, tell him who you are. And like, you're thinking, okay, this is good. You have like the daughter of Kiritsugu, and then you have the son of adopted son of Kiritsugu. They are kind of family. Well, let's see this happen. Let's see something like this happen. Let's see the drama between these two characters who had the same father. A father who is somewhat distant, yes, but let's see that happen. But it never happens. Actually, the little girl gets killed before the redhead would ever find out. She never is able to tell him that they are basically kind of brother and sister. And I'm just like, what the fudge? And then even like her heroic spirit who I kind of theorized was either two characters. One, I thought it was, after the first one, I thought it was my second guess was Hercules because he had a giant club. But looking at this character with long hair, he was ravenous and everything, and because Gilgamesh is still alive, I thought that was Enkidu, Gilgamesh's best friend in the Gilgamesh legend. I thought that was Enkidu. I'm like, oh my gosh, how freaking awesome would it be to see Enkidu and Gilgamesh finally meet again, especially since Enkidu says that was his best friend, the friend that he fought with, and everything. But no, it's Hercules. And I'm just like, okay, I guess that's kind of cool. It's Hercules. And then even later on, like, Hercules actually protects the little girl, even though apparently trying to connect with each other kind of hurt the little girl a bit. And she's just like, oh, you want to protect me? You want to protect me now and all this? And she was kind of happy kind of having someone there. And I guess it's supposed to kind of tug at your heartstrings, but like it didn't tug anything at all because it's like, okay, why does Hercules do this? I might have to break this into two parts because I'm talking too dang much for all this. But okay, why are you doing this exactly? And then they all just die before we get really anything. Or like Hercules tries to hit Gilgamesh after Gilgamesh basically killed Hercules, and it's like, he disappears into dust, and we never really get any answers for any of that. And then Gilgamesh rips out the little girl's heart. Yay! And I'm just like, okay, why did you kill her off? We could have seen something with the redhead and the white-haired girl together. And then, again, throughout the entire series, everyone's saying, you shouldn't be a hero of justice because that's a stupid dream. You only do it for other people, not yourself. And I'm just like, yes, he's trying to be selfless. Let him do it. Let him be a hero if he wants to be. But, and the good thing is, they kind of don't say it's actually, they do really say it's a bad thing, kind of. They kind of really do. Because it turns out that Archer is actually the redhead. This is the most, spoilers. Again, spoilers, I said in the beginning. Archer is the redhead from the future. And Archer has like silver, like white hair, but he's him from the future, and I'm basically looking at this and going, okay, this is kind of a cool twist, especially since like they kind of they kind of whatchamacallit, allude to it at like a necklace that the girl gives the redhead in the past, and then Archer has almost an exact duplicate and gives it back to her in the gives it back to her, but the redhead still has his. So it's kind of like, and she says there's only one version of this. So at first I thought, okay, maybe that's his, like maybe that's Archer's lover, and like he brought that across life, like that was his lover's pendant, and it kind of was true. But it was the other way around. He's from the future. And it turns out it's because he tries to become a hero of justice, but it doesn't go well in the future. So then I guess he either wins the Holy Grail or the Holy Grail grabs him and basically gives him the power to have the power to, quote unquote, to become a hero of justice. But a hero of justice is apparently killing hundreds of people. It's basically kind of what Kiritsugu did in the last one, where in Fate Zero it was, he was given multiple choice questions, like if there's 300 people on one boat and 200 people on the other, which boat do you save? And he says, well, the 300, because that's more people. And if the 200 try to take him hostage, he'll kill all of them to still save the 300. And that's kind of the same thing. And the reason why Archer wanted to kill his past self so much is because he doesn't want to be a heroic spirit anymore. He doesn't want to kill people. And so he says, well, okay, if I kill my past self, then my future self won't happen. I won't happen. But in the end, turns out, it still happens. I believe that's basically what it's supposed to be, that in the end, it still happens. Even like after, what's-his-face says, the redhead says, oh no, I'm not going to become you. It still freaking happens in the end. He still follows the exact same path instead of Archer probably saying, hey, you shouldn't do this, this, and this. And I guess it's supposed to be kind of alluded that, like, maybe the main girl is supposed to be what's going to try to help him stay off the path of becoming Archer, becoming a heroic spirit. But it just feels like, oh, what the fudge is really going on? Wait, what? Yeah, and I would like to talk about more, like, about Saber and all them, but they never really talked about again. They're not really talked about, like, oh, Saber's here or there. And even some points, like, some rules are just being made up. Where, like, apparently they're supposed to have, like, an assassin, but there is no assassin in this one because the assassin that they summon is a fake assassin. So there is no assassin in this Holy Grail War, even though they say they're supposed to be. I believe, at least, they're supposed to be. And then then we can talk about, like, the witch who can steal other people's powers and stuff, and, like, the limiting marks, and, like, it doesn't really make sense. Like, okay, you have 3 wishes to control your character, or tell your hero to do something for 3 times, but after you lose the 3rd mark, you lose you lose your hero, but you lose the bond between them. I'm just like, wait, but then why is there even a reason to have 3 marks? But because you'll lose them at the end, and it's just, or like one point where they say like, Saber can't summon Excalibur because whatever. Because it'll lose up too much mana and she'll disappear, but she summons it but doesn't disappear. And I don't know, I'm running out of time right now, but and like it has a lot of cool ideas, but there are a lot of things wrong with it. Like, one, why does Saber's sword get turn invisible in this series? Because it's one cool idea, but why does it happen? I looked it up and it says people have guessed that maybe Merlin is put on it, but other than that, there's no real reason given. Or there are some cool scenes where like Archer or Gilgamesh and Redhead fight in like this world where like their swords keep hitting each other. It's a pretty cool scene where they fight and stuff. But in the end, it's just, and like Lancer, one of the coolest characters in this. I'm sorry I couldn't talk about him that much. He dies so quick, and he was like one of the most charismatic characters there, and it's just like, what the fudge? And it just feels so limited, and it just feels bad. Like, honestly, if you want a better story where characters there's a giant war over one wish, to save the world wherever, or to fight each other and whatnot, and they summon heroes of the past to help them fight, go watch Shaman King, or go read the manga Shaman King. It's a good show. It has the almost exact same plot line, but it's so much better. It really is. Maybe I plan to make another video about like the Fate Stay stuff. later on if I can. But yeah, go watch Shaman King. Way freaking better way to do this. Anyway, thanks for watching. Check out my videos, and we will. Okay, maybe it's 3 minutes. But yeah, go watch Shaman King. It has way better idea. Like, yeah, not all of them are from mythologies, but it feels more like, okay, you're taking heroes from the past and using them to fight in like a modern, quote unquote, modernish era, and it's another contest that's done over a certain amount of years to then gain a wish, or in this case, gain a wish and become god of Earth, because there's apparently gods on other planets in that timeline or whatnot. But yeah, it's a pretty good one, and it has like cool twists in that one as well. Like, other than time traveling ghosts, like, it has some pretty good twists. And it's way, I think, and it has a lot more funner moments. If you're supposed to feel like fun, it is actually fun. But yeah, go watch Shaman King. Fate Stay, I might make another video about everything I dislike about it, write down a list. But yeah, like, it is a great concept, and a concept I've seen done well in Shaman King and a couple others. But I'm pretty sure it's been done better than others. But I know, like, Shaman King is the only one I can really think of right now. But, well, Dot Hack kind of does that in GU, technically. Kind of, not really. But still, with a familiar. But yeah, go watch Shaman King. Similar plot line, better story, and probably even more imaginative. Actually, it's way more imaginative. And a lot less dark. This one is just like, do you want to be a hero? Well, too bad, you suck. But yeah, like, and honestly, I will say the best scenes are probably the fight scene with Gilgamesh, and maybe when the last time they see Archer and he looks like the redhead, but his hair's still silver and you see him older. Maybe those are like probably the only two good scenes in this. The voice acting is bad, not bad, but it's just like the main character, even like the main girl, she's annoying at some points. Just because she always sounds stuck up, even when she's trying to sound concerned. Even when it's supposed to be kind of silly, it's not. It doesn't really focus on any of the ghosts, or in this case, the heroic spirits that much, like Archer and them. It just feels half. It just feels like there's half of the story we are not seeing. And I know they continue onward, so yeah. But either way, thank you so much for watching. If you're movies that I've done, please click the link description below. Please check out all the videos. Tell me what you guys thought, and we will. See you later.